will not allow the rights of responsible, traditional, principled Ontarians to be taken away. We are here to make it very, very clear that we are not wanting to impose our values on anyone else. But we're here to remind the legislators that traditional principled people, including those of the various faith communities, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, Muslim, are an important part of the diversity of this province. And we expect to be respected.
That was a tremendous day. Over 2,000 people filled Queen's Park, standing up for traditional principles and balanced legislation for our schools. A lot has happened in our communities and in the legislature since we first reported on Bill 13. And I want to take this time to share with you some of the positive results that your efforts have had on this issue. Let's be clear. The Accepting Schools Act is anything but accepting. It is, in fact, biased legislation that uses the issue of bullying to justify a much larger agenda. NDP and Liberal MPPs have made it very clear this legislation is about far more than bullying. Toronto Danforth MPP Peter Tabins confirmed our conclusions in the legislature when he said this legislation has been created to change the cultural values of society. This statement was echoed by Education Minister Laurel Broughton, who openly admitted during second reading that the Liberal government's goal is to change attitudes and change them for good. And then she explained how this would happen, declaring that the government will take what they create in our schools out to the broader community, into the locker rooms, into the community centers, and into our communities as a whole. In our previous video, we highlighted specific problems with Bill 13. When the government mandates controversial lifestyle curriculum and legislates what you are to believe and say, Ontario schools are then being used as a hub for social reengineering, which will in time direct the values of the rest of society. When the legislation forces respectful, traditional principled organizations and faith groups to sign a provincial code of ethics that contradicts their values in order to keep their rented school space, the government is working directly to undermine the charter-protected rights of these groups. I find it so significant that Mr. Alan Hubley, who has been at the center of the Bill 13 whirlwind since his son Jamie took his own life last year, in part due to bullying, has again been quoted in the Ottawa Sun, voicing his concern about the biased nature of this legislation. He states, "I'm troubled by the notion that they're abandoning the other children. Obviously, not every child in the school is gay. The whole idea is to respect the differences in each other. I'm very troubled that any one group would think they have a priority over all other children." Thankfully, added to this are the hundreds of thousands of Ontarians sharing similar concerns, and we are seeing positive results. Let me share with you some of what's been happening lately. A consortium of over 15 provincial organizations has come together to call for amendments to Bill 13, pooling resources and networking throughout Ontario. Peace Hamilton, Parents as First Educators, and other consortium members have made Bill 13 presentations in cities throughout the province, with more scheduled later this month. Thousands of petitions have been distributed to the public. I personally know of one man who has collected over 900 names on his own and taken them to his MPP. And on March 29th, a rally was held at Queen's Park. It was a culminating appeal for legislation to truly protect all students from bullying and respect the values of all citizens. Have our voices fallen on deaf ears? Absolutely not. In fact, during the rally, MPPs were debating Bill 14 inside the legislature, And it's reported in the Hansard Minutes that the rally outside could be heard inside the legislative chamber. A number of MPPs agreed that legislators need to get this bill right and are calling for input to make it the best it can be. It is with pleasure that I can report that the PC Party is now standing strong for their own Bill 14, the Anti-Bullying Act. MPP Lisa MacLeod gave it a passionate push, and it was passed unanimously to Standing Committee. At the time of this recording, Bill 13 has had over 8 hours of debate, but it is still awaiting a vote to see whether it will go to Standing Committee. Many are encouraging both bills to go to Standing Committee together so that the best possible bill can be created. And we need your help to make sure that happens. So what can you do? It is still very important that MPPs hear from their constituents on this issue. If you believe that parents should have the final say in the education of their child, that bullying is not limited to a few categories and protection should be extended to all students, and that federal charter rights and freedoms for all citizens are worth preserving, then you need to make your voice heard. Information and petitions are available on the FCP website as well as through other consortium partners. I encourage you to go online, get informed, and join all of us in this effort. On our website, you will find sample letters that can be used to assist you to write your MPP, or even better yet, schedule a meeting at their office. If you would like to plan and organize a public meeting in your community, I'd be happy to talk to you and to help you with your planning, and even share the latest on this important issue. And lastly, I'd encourage you to share this information, the link to this video, with all of your friends. To find out more about the history of Bill 13, please see our previous video listed on our YouTube channel and on our website. At Family Coalition Party, our mission is to positively influence Ontario for traditional principles, and we are doing just that. If this encourages you, I invite you to go to our website, www.familycoalitionparty.com. Find out more, take out membership, and get involved locally. Thank you for standing up for balanced legislation and traditional principles in Ontario.